Microphone explanation. In Java, before you can store any value, you must tell the compiler exactly what type of data you're going to store. This is what makes Java a strongly typed language. It enforces data types strictly at compile time, catching errors before your program even runs. There are two broad categories of data types in Java. Primitive types are the basic building blocks. They store simple raw values like numbers and characters directly in memory. Non-primitive, reference, types store the memory address of an object rather than the value itself. These include strings, arrays, and all classes. Looking at the diagram, you can see this clear split. On the left side are the 8 primitive types grouped by category: integer, floating point, character, boolean, and on the right side are reference types. Every variable you ever declare in Java falls into one of these two categories, and understanding this distinction is fundamental to everything else in Java: memory management, method passing, comparisons, and more. Microphone explanation. Primitive data types are the most fundamental data types in Java. They are not objects, they don't have methods, and they store their values directly in stacked memory rather than on the heap. There are exactly 8 of them, and each one has a fixed size in memory regardless of which OS or machine you're on. This is part of Java's platform independence guarantee. Looking at the diagram table, the types are organized in rows with their size, range, and default value clearly laid out. Starting from the integer group, byte is the smallest at just 1 byte, 8 bits, storing values from -128 to 127, useful for saving memory in large arrays. Short is 2 bytes. Int is 4 bytes and the most commonly used integer type in Java. When you write the number 42, Java treats it as an int by default. Long is 8 bytes and used when you need very large numbers. You must append L at the end like 100L. In the floating point group, float is 4 bytes for decimal numbers, append F like 3.14F. Double is 8 bytes, more precise, and the default decimal type, just writing 3.14 gives you a double. Char is 2 bytes and stores a single Unicode character, written in single quotes like A. It actually stores the Unicode value 65 internally. Boolean stores only true or false and its size is JVM dependent, typically 1 bit logically. Choosing the right primitive type matters. Using int when you only need byte wastes memory, especially in arrays of millions of elements. Microphone explanation. Java is an object-oriented language, but primitive types like int, double, and char are not objects, they're just raw values. This creates a problem when you need to use them in places that require objects, such as storing numbers in an array list or using them with generics. Wrapper classes solve this by wrapping each primitive inside a full Java object. Each primitive has a corresponding wrapper class: byte, short, int integer, long, float, double, char character, boolean. Notice that most are just the capitalized version of the primitive name, except int integer and char character. Java makes working with wrappers seamless through 2 automatic processes. Autoboxing is the automatic conversion of a primitive into its wrapper object. When you write integer x is equal to 5, Java automatically converts the int value 5 into an integer object behind the scenes. Unboxing is the reverse. When you write int y is equal to x, where x is an integer, Java automatically extracts the primitive value from the object. Wrapper classes also come with useful utility methods. Integer.parseInt, 42, converts a string to int. Integer.max_value gives the maximum int value. Double.isNone checks if a value is not a number. These utilities make wrapper classes extremely useful beyond just collections. Microphone explanation. A literal is simply a value you write directly in your code. It's the most basic way to represent data. When you write int x is equal to 100, the 100 is an integer literal. Java supports several types of literals with some important notations worth knowing. Integer literals can be written in 4 number systems: decimal, normal, 42, binary with prefix 0b like 0b101010, octal with prefix 0 like 052, and hexadecimal with prefix 0x like 0x2a. All 4 represent the same value 42. From Java 7 onwards, you can use underscore as a visual separator in large numbers. 1_000_000 is the same as 1000000, making it much easier to read. Long literals must end with L, 100L. Float literals must end with F, 3.14F. Double literals need no suffix. 3.14 is already a double. Character literals are written in single quotes, A. They can also be written as Unicode escapes. \U0041 is also A. Boolean literals are simply true or false, lowercase only. Java doesn't accept true or true. String literals are written in double quotes, hello world. Strings are special because Java maintains a string pool. If 2 string literals have the same value, they share the same memory location in the pool rather than creating 2 separate objects, which saves memory. Microphone explanation. Typecasting is the process of converting a value from one data type to another. Java handles this in 2 ways depending on whether you're going from a smaller type to a larger one or vice versa. Looking at the diagram, imagine a one-way flow from left to right for widening, byte short, int long, float double. Each step moves to a larger type. When you assign a byte value to an int variable, Java does this conversion automatically without any special syntax, because there's no risk of losing data. A smaller container's value always fits perfectly into a larger container. This is called widening casting or implicit casting. For example, int x is equal to 100, long y is equal to x, Java widens x automatically. Now the right to left direction in the diagram represents narrowing casting, going from a larger type to a smaller one. Here data loss is possible. If you try to fit a long into a byte, the value might be too large. Java forces you to be explicit about this by writing the target type in parentheses. Long x is equal to 1000L, int y is equal to int x. This tells Java, I know what I'm doing, convert it anyway. If the value fits, it works fine. If it doesn't fit, the value gets truncated, the extra bits are cut off and you get an unexpected result. For double to int, the decimal part is simply dropped. Int 9.99 gives you 9, not 10. This explicit syntax is called a cast operator, and narrowing casting always requires it. Microphone explanation. In Java, where you declare a variable determines everything about it: its lifetime, who can access it, where it's stored in memory, and whether it's shared or private to each object. There are 3 types, and the diagram shows all 3 clearly within a class structure. Local variables are declared inside a method or a block. In the diagram, they appear inside the main method box. They are created when the method is called and destroyed the moment the method returns. They live in stacked memory and are never shared. Each method call gets its own fresh copy. Critically, local variables have no default value. If you declare int x inside a method and try to use it without assigning a value first, the compiler throws an error. You must always initialize them explicitly. Instance variables are declared inside the class but outside any method, shown in the diagram at the class level. Every time you create an object using new, that object gets its own personal copy of all instance variables. If you have 10 dog objects, each has its own name and age. They live in heap memory as part of the object. They do have default values. Int defaults to 0, string defaults to null, boolean defaults to false. Static variables are declared with the static keyword at the class level, shown in the diagram with a separate highlighted box. Unlike instance variables, there is only one copy of a static variable shared across all objects of the class. If you change a static variable from one object, every other object sees the change immediately. They live in the method area of JVM memory. A classic use case is a counter that tracks how many objects have been created. Since it needs to be shared across all instances, it's declared static. Microphone explanation. Java automatically assigns default values to instance and static variables when they are created. This is a safety feature to ensure no variable ever holds garbage data from memory. The defaults follow a logical pattern. All numeric types, byte, short, int, long, default to 0, floating point types, float, double, default to 0.0, char defaults to \U0000, the null Unicode character, boolean defaults to false, and all reference types, string, arrays, objects, default to null, meaning they point to nothing. This is why you can declare string name as an instance variable and use it without assigning it. It will safely be null rather than some random garbage value. However, this automatic defaulting does not apply to local variables declared inside methods. If you write int x inside a method and then try to print x, the Java compiler immediately catches this and gives a compile time error. Variable x might not have been initialized. Java designers made this a strict rule deliberately. Local variables are short-lived and developer-controlled, so the compiler expects you to be explicit about their values. This strict policy prevents a whole class of bugs where uninitialized variables cause unpredictable behavior, something that is a notorious problem in C and C++. Microphone explanation. The final keyword is Java's way of saying, this cannot be changed. It can be applied to three things, each with a distinct meaning. When applied to a variable, it makes that variable a constant. Once a value is assigned, it can never be reassigned. This is how you declare constants in Java. By convention, final variable names are written in all underscore caps with underscores, like max_speed or pi. When applied to a method, final prevents that method from being overridden by any subclass, useful when you want to lock down critical logic. When applied to a class, final prevents that class from being extended, inherited, at all. The string class in Java is a classic example of a final class, which is why you can never extend it. For variables specifically, there's an important distinction. When final is applied to a primitive, the value itself cannot change. But when final is applied to a reference variable, object, the reference, memory address, cannot change, meaning you can't make it point to a different object, but the contents of the object itself can still be modified. This is a common source of confusion for beginners. Explanation. When this program runs, execution starts from the main method inside the final example class. Before main executes, the JVM loads the final example class into memory, and during this loading the static final double pi equals 3.14159 line is initialized once at the class level. After that, the main method begins execution and the line final example obj equals new final example creates a new object of the class in heap memory. While creating this object, the instance variable final int max speed equals 120 is assigned its value and cannot be changed afterward. Next, the method call obj.show transfers control to the show method. Inside this method, a local variable final int localconst equals 50 is created and assigned the value 50. Since it is declared as final, it cannot be reassigned later in the method. The commented lines max speed equals 200 and local const equals 100 would cause compilation errors if uncommented, because both variables are already assigned once and final prevents any further assignment. Then the print statements execute one by one. System.out.println of max speed plus max speed accesses the instance variable stored in the object and prints 120. System.out.println of pi accesses the class level static value and prints 3.14159. Finally, system.out.println of local constant plus localconst prints the method level value 50. After the show method finishes execution, control returns the main, and the program ends. Throughout this execution, all three variables, max speed, pi, and localconst, are assigned exactly once and used directly in the print statements without any modification. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this explanation helped you clearly understand the data types and variables and its core components in a structured and easy way. Continue learning, keep practicing, and stay consistent with your preparation. More detailed concepts are coming next.